Alright guys, welcome back. Hanging out yet again at CrossFit Justice. Got Super Drew here with me again. Today we're going to do a follow-up to the article we wrote on Scap Engagement, that shoulder girdle engagement. We're going to go over a few exercises that help cue you and help strengthen. And that rotator cuff, rhomboids, even into your lats. I mean, that entire backside that we want to really get activated in actually any exercise that we want to do. Because the shoulders are very susceptible to injury, but they're very important to moving pretty much anything. So the most basic way, and you don't really need anything to do that, these are to add resistance, and I'll show you as we go along, is we'll do what's called a scap retraction. So what I would have somebody do, so I'm going to have Drew do, is I'm going to have him put his palms up, his elbows at 90 degrees, okay? Using his thumbs as guides, essentially. He's going to try and keep his elbows as close as he possibly can to himself, and he's going to try and take his thumbs and move them in this little plane to behind him. So go ahead and try and pinch those behind you. Okay? So we should feel a pinch, so go ahead and turn around, that way we can show. Is, see again, those palms up, and here, alright, now come up. As he starts to pinch back here. So essentially if I had like a marker, I would cue somebody, so imagine that either you had a pencil or marker behind you and you're trying to hold that marker there. And that's what we're looking to do. And that starts to really engage everything here. So turn back around, Drew. So if that's pretty basic and you do that for a few weeks, doing sets, 3 sets of 10 or 20 of them, I'd work to 3 sets of 20 with an exercise like this. Is, again, we can use something like the TheraBand that we've used in other exercises and that we like to use in a lot of different things. But if you don't have one of those, a lot of the gyms that you go to tend to have these big rubber bands. People use them for pull-ups and so forth, but we can use them for these exercises. So again, Drew would assume that same position. All he would do is grab a hold of that band, use that as more resistance. Again, keep the elbows close, up nice and tall. Now the major thing here is I don't want compensation with that lumbar spine, so I don't want that low back to arch. So if someone's really trying to push back, they may start to arch here. So go ahead and arch there for me, Drew. Let's turn to the side and I'll show you. So if you moved these out of the way, he's got this excessive curvature here, and that's what we don't want. We don't want this going too much. So again, straighten up. There we go. So we want to keep that spine neutral is what we want to do. Okay? So go ahead and give me the band back. So how that applies to everything else is, because we have a pull-up bar over here, we're going to show you what the pull-ups is. I'm going to have Drew grab the bar. Okay. So this is from a complete laxed dead hang. There's no engagement here, and everything's just kind of loose. You can see where his lats and his scaps start to push out. So if I tell him to engage his shoulders, I don't want to simply pull. I want him to have that same sensation, trying to pinch here as he does before. And notice how he rises, his shoulders start to come down a little bit because he starts to bring those scaps down, and he engages and his chest comes up a little bit. And how that makes a difference is not only for here, a more active position, but if I have him drop down, it translates to even just moving my arm around. So how a lot of people end up in front of a computer is in this kyphotic position. It's actually the successive curve of this thoracic spine. As they start to roll their shoulders forward because they're sitting at their computer like this and their monitor's not tall enough, and then they also don't have a chair that is actually proper for them. That's a whole different story. Is if I have Drew kind of lax his shoulders forward and he kind of slumps. Now if I have him simply flex his shoulder, that's as far as he can go. He can't go any higher. These pieces have to move in order for that to happen. So if I have him put his arm back down, now if I have him do that same engagement, same pinch, so grab that marker, okay, now flex your shoulder up. Boom! So much more. So that's why it's really important, guys, to have active shoulders. Why it's always emphasized often enough, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm doing a pull-up, if I'm doing a pressing exercise, I still want my shoulders in a safe position. And to do that, I have to activate my scaps. I have to have my shoulder girdle engaged. Otherwise, I can slump in either direction because the stabilizers are not working. So you can put your arm down. Thank you, Super Drew. So that was just a follow-up to that Scap shoulder girdle engagement article that we wrote. Feel free to take a look at that. Watch the video again. If you have any questions, let us know. Shoot us an email. teamtreign@trainathletics.com as always. If you have any questions, comments, if you want us to cover anything, let us know. We'll do a video, we'll do an article, or we'll just shoot you something directly if you want it that way instead too. As always, check us out on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. It's at Treign Athletics. Hit us up on Instagram as well. It's at Team Treign. Subscribe to the newsletter, guys. You get 10% off your first order and you stay up to date on all our new stuff. As always, live, lift, love. Take care.